Hi everyone. I wanted to do another video talking about PKU and kind of the personality that I feel like goes along with PKU. I feel like a lot of people with PKU tend to be very insecure and not very confident, and the way I said that kind of made that pretty apparent. Basically, assertiveness. I think that PKU, we tend to be kind of apologetic, and I've seen tons of people in different support groups on Facebook and Instagram saying things like, I'm in this situation and there's nothing I can eat. Is it rude to leave? Is it rude to do this? There's nothing I can eat, and people just play it off. And I've been there. I've done it tons of times where you act like you're fine, but you're starving and there's nothing you can eat. And you feel like it's your fault. You feel like, oh, I should have prepared for this. I should have brought something. I should have eaten before I came. But like, the fact is, we're unique. We aren't common. This isn't something people are accustomed to dealing with. I mean, my people that I'm not super close with, or that I didn't grow up with, I guess, people I became friends with over time, like my boyfriend's family, they always try to accommodate me, and I could not explain enough how much I appreciate that. I'm so grateful for it. But they really struggle to, because it's not something they understand. Like, they don't understand why I can eat pasta sauce if there was a meatball in it, but I can't eat meat. So I'm not eating the meatball, but I can still eat the sauce, even though they touched each other. They don't get that. And they don't get why I can have 4 grams of plant protein, but I can't have 4 grams of animal protein. Like, why can't you have ice cream? It's a lot more complicated. So I think that the PKU community as a whole tends to be, and not everybody, but tends to be really apologetic and really timid when we talk about our diet. And in my experience as a kid, I never even talked about my diet. Like, for years and years, I just basically pretended I didn't have PKU. And when I was off diet and when I was on diet, I just did not talk about it. But as an adult, when I went back on diet, I'm very open about it. I love talking about it because, I don't know, it's an important part of my life, and I think it's important to take care of myself that way. But I think that as a whole, we don't need to be apologetic. We don't need to say, I'm sorry for inconveniencing you. It's our diet. I mean, you're not being rude about it. You're not being demanding. You're not saying, oh, I can't eat that. It's not, I think we think of it almost as though these are demands we're making because we just decide to. It's not like we're a vegetarian who is angry that they're not being accommodated for when they didn't give any warning. It's not like we go somewhere and just immediately get upset there's no food for us to eat. We're not choosing this, is basically what I'm trying to say. We're not choosing to not be able to eat what everyone else is eating. And I've been there when you don't eat anything. You go home hungry, you leave, you go straight to get food. You smile politely when people try to accommodate you, but really you can't eat it. Things like that, or you eat a really small amount of it just to kind of appease them. I've done that. And it doesn't accomplish anything to try to save face and try to accommodate other people with your disease. It's personal, and it's not something we have any control over. So, I mean, I've been a very timid person. I've been very shy, very quiet about my PKU, and in the end of the day, it's the life you live, and that's okay. You're allowed to say, I can't eat this. And if you're ever in a situation and you see something that's a possibility that you could do, like, oh, I guess I could talk to the chef, I could talk to this person, whoever you're with, and just explain what's going on. You could leave and get food. You could excuse yourself and say, hey, if you're at a family event and you're surrounded by foods you can't eat and you're hungry, you can leave. It's okay. I mean, it's always good to bring something as a backup, but if you feel like, oh, well, this is my fault, I didn't bring anything to eat, and now there's nothing I can eat, but, what can I do? This is totally my own fault. It's not. You're a person, you forget things, especially a person with PKU. I don't know about you, but I'm very forgetful. And you're allowed to say, I'm hungry. I mean, it's a human need. You need to eat. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I need to excuse myself. I need to go get some food. I'm just going to run by this place, get some French fries, run to the grocery store and get a quick dish to eat or a salad. Like, that's okay. You can do that even if you have to leave for a half hour. It's all right. I know it's inconvenient, it's annoying, it can be embarrassing. I remember I used to be very embarrassed of my diet, and I definitely get uncomfortable when I have to tell people that they haven't accommodated me and that I have to go and make other arrangements, Like if someone is trying to feed me and I have to say, well, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. Like a few weeks ago, I went over to my boyfriend's sister's house for a family dinner. I think it was a birthday. This was a while ago. And they were doing cake and ice cream. And I think the cake was gone, honestly. And she asked, "Do you want some ice cream?" And I said, "No, that's okay. I got there late because I was working." And um, she goes, "Seriously, there's only like 3 grams per serving." And I said, I really can't eat it. And it was just kind of uncomfortable because she insisted a couple times, "No, it's okay. It's low in protein." And I just said, it's ice cream. Like, it's confusing. And it's times like that where it's okay to be assertive. And that's one thing I've really learned going back on diet, is that we need to be assertive. We need to say, this is what I need, and that's how it is. If you need to go and drink a formula, if you need to excuse yourself to get food, if you need to say no to someone offering you something, that's okay. It's okay to be assertive and say no and recognize the needs that you have and do the things you need to do. Because you have to look after yourself. No one else is really going to look after you the way that you do. And I'm really grateful for the people in my life that do look after me, because it seriously means the world to me. My family grew up with me, and they saw me not take my diet seriously as I grew up, so they don't take it super seriously when I'm around them now. They know I'm on diet and that I take it really seriously, but it's not something we talk a lot about, except for like my mom and my dad, because I'm close. But excuse me, things that mean a lot to me are like when I go out to dinner and my brother-in-law orders me an extra appetizer of green beans because he feels bad because I'm staring at the chicken wings I can't eat. Things like that, where it's just like, that is so thoughtful. Like, just sweet little things like that. And if we have people over for dinner and they want to bring food and my boyfriend just says, "Oh, that's all right, we'll whip something up," and find something that we can actually all eat together, that's amazing, because there's not a lot of things that we get to eat with other people. So doing something like, "Oh, we're going to make tacos," and then he prepares a bunch of sweet potatoes that I can eat that are spiced with taco seasoning, something really odd but simple that actually tastes really good. Little things like that, where he tries to make sure that I have something to eat. Even like I said, it's my job, and that's what we do. We need to look after ourselves. But it's still nice to have other people there for you. But the thing is, you can't expect everyone to look after you, because it's so personal. And the only reason these particular people are able to look after me is because they're so close to me. They know more about the diet than 99% of the general public does. Most people don't even know PKU exists. When I meet someone who actually knows what PKU is, I just kind of freeze and say, "Really? Are you a nurse?" Usually they are. I think one time, maybe 2 times, I've met someone who actually knew someone who had PKU. And that was crazy. In my entire lifetime, I've met 2 people by chance that knew someone who had PKU. But anyway, it's okay to be assertive. It's okay to say no. It's okay to excuse yourself. It's okay to, make yourself heard. That's all right. I've been shy. I've been in my shell, and I know a lot of people with PKU who I've had this conversation with, and they say, "Well, I feel bad. I should have brought something," or, "I know it's inconvenient for other people to try to prepare things for me." And if they offer to, let them. But if they don't, then, take care of yourself. But I guess the whole point I'm trying to make is that our particular condition is unique and extremely rare. So it is up to us to look after ourselves, and it is up to us to make sure that we get the things we need, and we don't have to feel bad when we fail to meet our own needs. We just need to do the best we can. Like I said, you forget to bring something to a family dinner and you have nothing to eat, you're allowed to leave. You're allowed to go get food. Like, oh my gosh, feed yourself. I just felt so bad. I was reading someone's message on a PKU support group, and she posted it for advice and said, I'm at a family gathering for Christmas and there's nothing here I can eat, and I don't know if it's okay if I leave. Like, what should I do? And she was truly gonna just sit there and let everyone else eat for a few hours, I think, and just stay there and be hungry without just leaving and quickly swinging by a restaurant and grabbing fries or something. It's like, I just felt so bad. Like, how unfair to put yourself into that situation and say, I'm not allowed to leave. So I mean, tons of people made similar comments. There were a couple people that said, you're fine, you should bring something yourself. And that just was like, really? That's not helpful. Like, she obviously forgot to bring something. And she even said, usually they accommodate her. And this time they happened not to. Like, in other situations, she does bring something. But in this particular situation, she expected them to prepare something for her like they usually do. And it's things like that where it's like, you don't need to apologize. You don't need to, sit there and bear it and be hungry. Like, go eat. Get yourself some food. That's okay. That's human. Like, we need to eat to live. There's nothing wrong with that. So I hope, the whole point of this video, the whole takeaway, I hope is just that you realize that you're allowed to assert yourself in situations. I know it's hard. I've been there many, 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 many times where you are uncomfortable, you're maybe embarrassed, you don't want to be rude. But like I said, no one else is going to take care of you and look after you the way that you do for yourself. So it's really important that you, make that clear to other people that these are my needs and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of me. So anyway, that's the whole point here. Make sure to look after yourself and do the best you can with what you've got. And don't feel bad if you fail, because watching yourself every hour of every day of your entire existence, every time you eat, is a lot. So stay well.